June 23rd, 1990, part 2. Phone rang midway through my last recording, and so I just kind of picking up. It might be a little bit of repeat here, but yeah. So, changing red pen, and da 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 da. So I was listening to some kids sing, I think. I'm a child of God. So after listening to them sing, I naturally began to think about marriage and kids and my future. I thought about it, what it would be like. It's so funny. 30 years later, kids are all gone. Empty nester. Isabel's at work. Ethan's been married for 2 years now. That's so weird to think in retrospect like this. But there's so much I haven't even begun to realize. Stuff like what will happen to us in the church. It will be so cool to see Carmen sitting beside me, or our children during sacramenting. I wonder what calling she'll get. Let's see, Carmen served in the stake young women presidency, the ward young women, ward primary. She served on committees. Yeah, she's done lots of stuff. Then there's stuff like family home evening. I wonder what we'll do. Wonder how we'll raise our kids. Our 5 kids. Yes, 5 children. Carmen read my journal after I sent it home, and she wrote in the margin here, no, 3. And as it turns out, we just had 2. I think we would have had 3. Our first was a miscarriage, and Carmen's pregnancies were terrible, so we just had 2. Of course, it will be in righteousness, but I want so much, and I want everything to be perfect. And of course, I want to be absolutely filthy rich. That didn't happen, sorry. Not as a high school teacher. It makes family life easier when money isn't a concern. So, you can see that I'm taking this all very seriously. I don't know how seriously long we'll want to wait before we get married. It really will be a humongous responsibility, though I will be ready to accept. It's something that will need prayer and discussion, and then more prayer. Anyway, we got faked twice today, which means we had appointments with people that never bothered to show up. It happens a lot. 2 of our investigators didn't show up at the church tonight, so instead of teaching, we went to YSA, Young Adults. Now, I've never been excited about going to Young Adults back home, so here it wasn't that much better, except that I didn't understand a word they said. What made the evening bad for me is that I didn't feel like I had the spirit. What happened there was too many people sitting around me at this table where the young adults met. So there were missionaries sitting behind me, and I was up at the edge of the table. They were talking about me behind my back. I didn't really care why. Elder Webb picked up my briefcase and used it as a table for his drink, but also opened it up and methodically went through it, and that irritated me. Ironically, Elder Webb and I would go on to be companions, almost like the Lord knows what he's doing, and turned out to be a great guy. That irritated me. Some other elder cracked a joke about me, and I kind of laughed with a real retarded look, ha 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 ha, but gave him a nice stare and turned around. After that, I knew it would be a long night. Elder Smith was back there too, and he was knifing me in the back, which really surprised me because I thought we had become good friends. I've told him some personal things about my family and just how I feel about Carmen. It was weird to have him make me look so bad in front of the other elders. So they started fooling around, sticking wrappers on my back, in my back pockets, belt loops, etc. I don't care because something popped in my head. I don't know why. If I would call it inspiration, but I just had the thought that I should just sit there and not worry about it. everything will take care of itself. It always does. But also, I came to the realization that I haven't been too humble lately. I've been walking around, saying dumb things, I guess just generally joking around and being light-minded, which is something that I have covenanted in the temple not to be. So as you can see, because of these actions, I haven't been completely worthy to receive all of Heavenly Father's help. But don't get me wrong, I don't look at bad magazines, or I'm not swearing, though I have heard missionaries here doing that. I just haven't been being the missionary that I've always wanted to be. I have a serious list of characteristics I want to either retain or develop during my mission. They will not just appear, though. It will take some serious work for some, but some conscious effort for others. But at the rate I'm going to come home worse than I started. Yeah, not true, just a bit of an exaggeration there, but that's fine. I have to definitely work harder. Something Elder Ward told me is that missionaries aren't perfect. Some are here for the wrong reasons, and you have to understand that. I've really started to notice that with the elders in our zone. Like the guys tonight that were giving me a hard time. I couldn't believe it happened, but I guess it's something I will have to accept. This has been a long entry, but I feel a lot better about things after writing this. I had almost rationalized myself into calling Carmen tonight because I really needed to hear her voice. But I finally came to the conclusion that I can't just call up every time I'm feeling bad or lonely. It's slightly wimpish. I have to learn that if it's going to be, it's up to me. I've prayed to my Heavenly Father, and now I feel a lot better. I am anxious for her to read my letters. I love her so much, though people here will consistently tell me different. Time is slowly passing, so very soon. ... That was a long entry. That was a rough time. I remember it. I remember feeling picked on as the new guy, and nobody likes that feeling, especially since it was coming from missionaries. And that kind of sucked. But it didn't happen that often, and it was all in good fun, I suppose.